Welcome back, everybody. This is the very last session of the Dojo Course. So last time we had the last session, but this is again the last session, and we will be looking at some of the requests that came to us about what to discuss. There were 3 requests basically that we can also show. One of the requests was coming from one of our students about how to use the Facebook Suite module or how to set it up. 2 other requests from the online viewers. One of them was how to use the CSharp scripting module that I haven't used before either, and the other one is how to set up the Antispam module. So let's take a look at these. I will also start the Orchard instance because that will be needed anyway. And while everything is started and when the browser is open, I will go to the respective websites and download Facebook Suite. So what we use here is Orchard 1.7.1. So that was the latest version when we started the course. But as you may now know, there is an even more updated version under development. Of course, there is some version under development all the time, but that version also brings some breaking changes. So what we do now and what third-party modules we use now won't necessarily be alive or working with the next version too. But anyway, while it's starting, I will go to Facebook Suite and Facebook SDK. The Facebook Suite is a third-party module. It's actually developed by me, and it has a version on the Orchard gallery, but that's pretty outdated. So it's better to download the latest source from the project site. And by the way, you can also reach this project site from the gallery. So we will download Facebook Suite in a zip file, and it has a dependency. That's another module, what's called Facebook SDK. I will download that too. Get this too. And probably I didn't press Ctrl F5 very well. Anyway, so I've downloaded these 2 sources now into zip files. We have to install them into our Orchard instance, and that's also probably a good practice because we haven't done anything like this before. So here we have these 2 sources. How do we install them? Well, we should install them by hand. So this is the pro version of installing modules. We go to the Solutions Modules folder, and we have to copy the Facebook Suite module folders here. So that was the Facebook Suite folder, and we also need the Orchard SDK folder. Unfortunately, that's not enough. So as you can see, these folders have some generated names because these were downloaded from Codeplex, from the latest source. But for every module in Orchard, the folder name should be the same as the project's name. So we have to open the module, and as you can see, the project name is Facebook SDK. Oops. So we have to rename the folder to Facebook SDK, and the same for Facebook Suite. Yeah. Once that's done, we also have to add these modules to our solution. Well, first of all, because we are developers and we want to keep all of our modules in the solution. And the second reason is that sometimes if there are dependencies between modules, these dependencies won't be resolved unless you have all the modules in your solution. So I've added the 2 modules to the solution. Yeah, and now Orchard is indeed starting up. We will have to, of course, enable the module. What we will do now is that we will add the Facebook related widget to our website with the help of Facebook Suite. That will be quite obvious or quite easy. So let's see. Well, let's go to the dashboard, and under modules we should enable something with Facebook. Facebook Suite is a module that contains many features. So as you can see, these features are all from the Facebook Suite module. So we can choose something. Well, these are basically these features basically all correspond to the so-called social widget from Facebook. So on Facebook, there's a social widget called comments. So that corresponds to comments. There's a face file box you can use, a like box you can use, a like button. Well, everybody knows the like button. Yeah, and this is just the base feature of the module. We will now add a like box. So if you have a Facebook page of what you almost all the time would like to add to your website is the Facebook like box. If you go to Orchard Hungary, this thing on the right hand side here is a Facebook like box. It's nice because it displays who liked your site and the latest news from your Facebook page. Yeah, so everything was enabled. As you can see, there are quite a few dependencies. So Lightbox depends on the Facebook Suite base feature, and that in turn depends on the Facebook SDK module. So we have 3 features enabled because of the dependency chain. So let's add the Lightbox. It's a widget, so we should go under widget. And for example, let's add it to the aside second zone. There's this new widget, Facebook Lightbox widget, so that's it. Yeah, there should be some title like Lightbox. The page URL is the URL of the Facebook page, so in this case that's from Orchard Hungary. Yeah, some settings here, it's not very interesting. And now if we go back to the site, we have this beautiful Lightbox on the right hand side. So the Facebook Suite is not a very complicated module, it just includes a bunch of widgets, bunch of different widgets. That's all it's about. And now to the other requests. Let's start with Antispam, because that's probably the less interesting. And by less interesting I mean it's less interesting as a developer, but using an anti-spam mechanism is of course very interesting as a site owner, because spam bots are everywhere, so you have to do something about spam. Orchard has a built-in anti-spam module, and it has 3 features. Well, there's the base feature. This already contains some interesting stuff, and there are 2 separate features for spam filters. So Keysmith and Typepad both are spam filter services. So basically what you can do, you could either use some of the techniques in the base anti-spam module, what we will see in a moment, or you can use an external service like Keysmith and run every user submission, like comments, through the Keysmith spam filter. And Keysmith will tell you whether that comment is a spam or not. First, let's enable the base anti-spam feature. Yeah, okay. And this base anti-spam feature basically contains contains some content parts. Yeah, not content types, or not some content parts, but one content part. It's the JavaScript anti-spam part. This is some ridiculously simple technique. Well, let's add it to comments and let's see what happens. So we want to prevent spam submissions through comments, because comments are something that probably also anonymous users can submit, because we tend to allow anonymous users to comment on the contents. So let's add this JavaScript anti-spam part to the comment content type. Yeah, so add parts, as we do always, and there's JavaScript anti-spam part. Yeah. Now we just need some content to comment on. So let's go here and let's go add comments part to the page too. So we can comment on pages. Yeah, so we are on the page and we add comments. So now if we go back, we should be able to see, yeah, comments here. I'm not sure whether it works for authenticated users as well. Probably it works, but let's see what this JavaScript anti-spam part does. Oh yeah, it works. Sorry. So what the JavaScript anti-spam part does is basically it prevents the submission of the form if there is no JavaScript support in the browser. Because it adds an input field to the form. Here is the I am human field that has a default value of false. Now if you try to submit the form, this little piece of JavaScript will run, and this just sets that I am human form field to true. And in the background, the JavaScript anti-spam part is checking whether this field is true, and if it is, it doesn't do anything. If it's false, it will add a validation error and display that you can't submit this form because we need JavaScript support. Now this works because spam bots commonly don't have JavaScript support because it needs some computing resources. So basically for bots it's just faster not to execute JavaScript. That's quite understandable, but we can make use of this this feature of spam bots and prevent any submission if there's no JavaScript support. Of course, this will also close out people that genuinely don't have JavaScript support. Well, yeah, by using this, you say that you either don't care about clients without JavaScript support, or yeah, you take the risk of probably losing submissions. But this is surprisingly effective and it doesn't need any configuration, so you just have to add the content part. Slightly more complicated is the way how you set up Keysmith or even TypePad, but it's quite similar to setup. Yeah, first of all, no, there's no when you enable the Keysmith spam filter feature, you will get a spam filter content part. Basically, the spam filter content part will make the processing available, so the content that's submitted by the user will be run through a spam filter service. It's really slightly more complicated. So to use this spam filter with comments, we have to add this content part to the comment content type again. Well, this is still easy, but not yet everything is there. But it's spam filter. Oh yeah, and I forgot about ReCaptcha. ReCaptcha is also a spam prevention technique. Well, you may know ReCaptcha. It's a captcha service, I think made by Google. Well, it displays a captcha that you have to solve to submit the content. Well, let's use that too. Now, spam filter needs some settings. Yeah, basically what the idea here is that if you get a spam submission, because it's not necessarily really a spam, it can be a genuine submission, you may want to get notified. So you can set up some notification here, or you can just say that I want to delete the submission if it's a spam. But this is not yet enough, because under the spam settings you also have to set up the connection to the Keysmith service. So Keysmith is a service. There's a web service that the spam filter part will call and run your content through that. So you have to register for an API key and set it up here. Yeah, we won't do that here. The same applies for ReCaptcha. So for ReCaptcha, you have to also supply your keys here. Yeah, and by the way, here's indeed an option for not to display the CAPTCHA for authenticated users. Yeah, and I think that nothing will be displayed here, yeah, because we haven't set up neither of the services. CSharp scripting, if we are talking about the feature that's built into Orchard, it's called CSharp scripting. By the way, there is also another form of C# scripting, and this will be a shameless plug. There's a module called Orchard Scripting Extensions, but I think this won't work yet because you can't have such long URLs on podcasts, or rather that was the case when we created this module. Ext. Yeah, Ext. Yeah. So this is Orchard Scripting Extensions. It's an extensible scripting framework. There's, by the way, C# scripting and Visual Basic scripting included, but there's also PHP and JavaScript scripting. So with this module, through its scripting engines, you can write PHP, C#, Visual Basic, or even JavaScript scripts on the Orchard backend and run them there from inside Orchard, and you can also access Orchard services from the scripts. Yeah, and by the way, the PHP scripting extensions module also includes a PHP view engine, so you can have templates written in PHP, not in Razor. Yeah, but I think the one who asked for C# scripting wasn't talking about this module, but rather the built-in one. Now, this built-in module also gives a scripting engine, and I think you can also use it for spam protection, because there's a part called not C#. How is it called? So there's a part in the C# scripting module that's called script validation part, but it's not attachable, or what? Oh, it's in the validation feature. Okay, sorry. So there are two features in the C# scripting module. The other one is script validation. Script validation enables you to add a content part called script validation to content types, and basically you will be able to use C# code to validate the content item. So you can write arbitrary checks there. But yeah, I won't demonstrate it because it's the same, or you should use the C# part as the same as it is with workflows, because there's another feature in the JavaScript in the C# scripting module, and it's a workflow step. We have seen workflows and how to use and how to build workflows with the workflows module. So let's see it again with C# scripting. Let's call this workflow C# scripting demo. And what the C# scripting module gives us is this decision activity. This decision activity gives you a way to write arbitrary logic, and through this arbitrary logic decide on the possible outcomes of the workflow. So workflow is kind of visual programming. So you can have constructs where the workflow can branch into multiple outcomes. And in this case, depending on the C# logic, it will branch into the outcomes that the logic decides. So let's have two outcomes here. I don't know, yes, no. And before we write the script, I will make the workflow a bit more complete so we can see where this is going. Well, let's see. Let's start with the content updated activity. The content updated should be set as the start, as the workflow start with this button here. It's important to set the start of the workflow all the time. Let's also configure it so that we update a page this workflow will run. And now you can see that in this decision activity we have two possible branches, one for no and one for yes. So let's give the user a notification either way. So we have this branching structure here, and we will add a notification to both of the outcomes. But the first notification will display yes, and the second notification will display no. Okay, and I will put this no to the no notification and the yes outcome to the yes notification. And now comes the interesting part. In the script we can write a C# script, although I didn't succeed when I tried with anything else than the very basic. As you can see, we can finish the script with this set outcome call. So if we write set outcome no, the outcome will be the no branch, and we will see the no the outcome will be the no branch, and that's, well, probably we need a semicolon too. And we will see the no notification. Remember that we also have to hit save here. So let's go to our content, and let's save this page, for example. And if everything goes right, our workflow should be run. Yeah, so we have the no outcome visible here. And now we could do funny things like branches even here, and I've tried that, but it wasn't working. So what we could do, for example, we could write an if statement. As you can see, we can use some of the services here. For example, here's the content item that I assume is a content item that the workflow runs for, or I assume this should be it. And on the content item we have an ID, so if we check for the content item ID, like for 12, let's display a yes when we edit that page, yes, and let's display a no when we edit any other page. And really, when I tried this, it wasn't working, but let's see, probably it will work now. So we will need to see yes here, but we don't see anything. Yeah, that was what I've seen before. So no notification here for whatever reason. I don't really know what the cause is, but generally the idea here would be that you can write almost arbitrary C# code here and set the outcome with some arbitrary logic from this activity. So thank you again for your attention, and thank you again for your whole attention during the full Dojo course. Now the Dojo course is indeed ended, at least for this year. So again, good luck with your submissions, and probably let's see you next year. Thank you.